going to be an apple crumble cake. First thing, as always, we want to get all our ingredients ready as they are listed in the ingredients list on your recipe. All of our ingredients are laid out here, and if you've got a recipe kit, a lot of it will be measured out for you already as well. First thing we want to do is split our butter. We want 75 grams for the cake and 25 grams for our crumble topping. This apple cake is going to use 2 apples. If you've got something like rhubarb, you could take out 1 apple and replace that with rhubarb. That would be delicious as well. So we need to peel and chop the apples. In our cake, we don't want the core of the apples. We don't want the seeds and this really tough bit in the middle. So if we cut the apple into quarters, like so, then we can chop out this little bit here by just popping it down and slicing in like that. Right, so all of our ingredients are prepared, and this is baking. So baking is all about being really organized and being really precise when we're measuring. So if all your ingredients are already measured out for you, then you are winning already. You've got a small amount of flour, 50 grams here in a bowl. You've got 25 grams of butter that you cut off earlier. Break this with your fingertips into the flour. So now we're going to rub it together, and we're going to use just this part of our hands, just our fingertips. Cut all the pieces of butter and flour. With your fingertips, you're going to get the butter and flour and you're just going to rub it together. So you can get it onto your fingertips, and then with your thumbs, just push it away back into the bowl. And we're finished. If we've got some bigger chunks, that's absolutely fine. So we're looking for this kind of consistency. Now on to the cake batter. I like to be quite organised, so I have lined up all my ingredients in the order that I'm going to use them. We've got sugar, we've got butter, and these are our first 2 ingredients. So we need to cream together the butter and the sugar. If you have one of these, fantastic, you've just made life really easy for yourself. If you don't, and you've got a wooden spoon, then that is grand as well. Use your spoon to start with and squash the butter and the sugar together until it starts to come together. Then you can move on to your electric whisk if you've got one. So we've got a nice pale colour now. So now we're going to add the eggs. We're going to add one at a time. You can crack it first into a dish. So your cake mix should be looking like this, really light in colour and smooth. So now we're going to add the dry ingredients. So if you've got a recipe kit, you've already got some pre-weighed out plain flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and some cinnamon is already in here. Give it a mix together. Again, if you've got a recipe kit, you'll have some tins and some paper. If you don't have a recipe kit or you want to make a round one and you've got a cake tin, that is great. Just make sure to put some baking parchment in so it goes all on the bottom and all up the sides as well. So we're pushing it into the edges, and we want this to be about half full. You can do one big one, or you could do two small ones like we're gonna do. We've got our crumble topping from earlier, and we're just gonna sprinkle it all over the top. Not too thick, but make sure we're covering up all the cake batter. Okay, so these are gonna go into the oven now. Now that your cake has completely cooled, you can take it out of the paper here and we can cut it into slices. Each one of these loaf tins is going to be about 6 slices. If you've made a round one, you want to cut it into 12. And there we go, so that's our apple crumble cake.